Hello, my name is Chris, and I am a solution advisor at SAP Brazil in the pre-sales team. This is another video for the HANA Cloud Services Showcase series of videos, and now we are going to start with the hands-on sessions, starting with the SAP WebIDE, Database Explorer, the HANA Cloud Cockpit, and etc. This video will be available with this name, and we're going to start explaining a little bit more about the environment. So what we have here is a instance in SAP HANA Cloud, and we have this HANA Cloud Services database, and we have also instantiated one data lake instance to work together with the HANA Cloud, with the in-memory HANA Cloud. And the tools that we can start here are the SAP HANA Cockpit. As you can see, in this cockpit, we can manage the system. We can see resources consumption. We can create users. We can grant privileges. Is the tool that we use for managing the database. As you can see here, we have a database running. If you look inside here, we can see the services that are running. So this is only a small example so you can understand what we have here in our system. So we have the main services, the index server here is running. And we also have a data provisioning server to work with STI, for example. Yes, so this is only for showing you. Now I can show you also the Database Explorer. So this is the tool that we use to navigate through the database. So we can see all the objects. For example, here the instance that we are using is an HANA HDI container. We're going this in the next videos. But as you can see here, we have a user that explored this data. We can see everything about that, which are the adapters that we have here, for example. We can see the views, the cubes, functions, graph workspaces, and here, for example, all the tables. Here we can see the views. And for example, we can come here, create or instantiate a new SQL window, and for example, select star from any table here as an example, and then we get the results. Yes, and that's it. Again, another small example so you can see how we can work with HANA in the cloud. And now we are going to start the Web IDE. This is the environment that we use for developing applications. Mainly, we will work here in developing an HDI container. In this case, I'm using WebIDE that is available in the cloud. It's a service in SCP, SAP Cloud Platform, and is available on the new SCP. So what we generally do here, we create a new project. And for example, when we're here in the workspace, we can create a new project. So you can see here from template. We, in this case, started using a SAP HANA database project. And then you give a name. In our case, we use the showcase HDI. It's only an example for you to see. So you put here, for example, what is the namespace, the schema name that you're going to use. Select, for example, here SAP HANA Cloud. Then when you click finish, you get a new brand new project. But here I have already developed one. So Uh, in this case, we have organized the project in folders. We can see here we have a folder for the application, and here in lib, for example, I have an accessor data uh, service. It just exposes one of the tables that you have in the database as a service, so we can consume it using a web browser, using our data. We'll get to this later in the next presentations. Our focus now is in this part of the project, the database. So we have here the first, this first folder we don't use actually, is managed directly by the tool. And we have two main folders actually, the configuration folder and the source folder. In the configuration folder is where you define your security and privileges. It must be in this folder. So we'll see in more details, but we have here some analytic privileges. So we assume that you have all the concepts of the HANA objects. Otherwise, you can get this information in the manual or in other videos. Here we are going much more focused in the development, assuming that you know all the concepts that regards to HANA. We have another folder for defining privileges. So for example, here we can define that a user that have this role as a granted role will have access to these three objects, these three database objects with the select granted to them, select rights. We can see here another example where we give the access to this role for selecting, searching, updating, deleting, and execute. But now in the schema, we can see that we are giving the schema privilege. So in our case, our schema is showcase HDI. Then you also have here in WebIDE the definitions of the remote sources. We'll see in more details, for example, how we have defined an Excel file as a remote table. We can also access here the HANA data lake content, for example, what is stored in this area in the data lake to be consumed by the HDI through definitions. So as you can see here, we have the name, the virtual name for the object, where it resides. So see here, sysrdl is the relational data lake or the HANA data lake. And we have a table there. We'll check in more details about this table after. But then we also have here, for example, the connections to another table which sits in other HANA system. In this case, we have this other HANA system here. As you can see, is another one. This one is 256 gigabytes, and this one is 32 gigabytes machine. And what I'm doing there is I'm accessing data from this HANA into this one through Smart Data Access. So we are sharing objects between two HANA instances. So coming back here, we also have an access to a table that's sitting in SQL Server in Azure. We'll see this in more details in the SDI session. But anyway, you can see that all of these definitions, they are done in the config folder in your HDI project. Then we can move forward and go to the source folder. And here, for example, we have defined functions. This function, for example, relates to GDPR. We're going to detail more this concept in the security video that you see in the following videos. And the same for persistence. You have this table mapping, for example, to define security details for each table and for each user, and for each column. What are the columns that each user can query without being masked or anonymized? And here we have the persisted tables. These are the database tables. In our use case, we have 4 tables in the data model. As you remember, I think it's the introduction video. We have this model. Let me open. Here you can see this is the data model that you are working there. So card transactions, customer card, and merchant, these tables are in HANA. This table is in SQL Server, enriching the data model of HANA. And when we come back here, we can see that these 4 tables are the main tables of the project. And I have created another table. So this table has hot data. It's the data of 2020, of the current year, which sits in memory. So we have in NSE, in HANA disk, as a warm data, all the records about 2019, so the past year, and all the older data, the other 3 years, 2016, 17, and 18, they are sitting here in the HANA data lake. And so we'll do in the next videos a demonstration for the data tiering, where we have hot and warm data in this machine and cold data in this other instance. And then we create a view that joins or unions or the tables, simplifying the data consumption by the business user. So here we have only the current and past year, and as you saw here, we are mapping to the other 3 older years, which are available in this table in the data lake. Okay, then we go to the views. We have some views with the GDPR restrictions that we'll see in more details in the security session. But anyway, we have here calculation views, as you can see here. Some calculation views, we can open that. They're here. We can see that we have some information. And we also have views. You can see here that we have views and the codings. And we can also see that you have normal views here. So we have this object, and in the end we have the MTA YAML file. So we can see using the MTA editor or the code editor. By MTA editor, you can see that you have some definitions for the database here and for the application as well. But you can also see this using the code editor. And there is something that is very important for you, that is to define the name of your service. You do that adding this line to your MTA YAML file. So don't forget to add this service name so you can easily identify where your project is being deployed in HANA Cloud. As we come back here and we see the service instances, for example, we'll see that you have the showcase HDI application running. It's here. So this is the HANA Cloud Services tools for the HANA Cloud Persistence services. Um, and we'll follow for the next videos. For now, thank you and see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.